Hello, fellow people of the Earth. I am Day50 from Runetooncraft Productions, and welcome to a new episode of my old school RuneScape Let's Play. Today, we're going to be doing some merching. This is kind of another merching tutorial. I made one a long time ago, episode 36 it was. That was way before the Grand Exchange was released. Well, not way before, but that was like before the Grand Exchange was released, so it's kind of different now. So we're gonna, the main stuff about it's the same. In some ways it's harder, and in some ways it's actually a lot easier. We're gonna get into that. But first of all, we need to get into the outfit. All right, we're not wearing the right outfit right now. We need to get our merchant outfit on, and here it is. All right, now I feel more prepared because I'm in my merchant outfit. It is a requirement. If you do not have the right outfit on, you will not get the right deals. People will not trust you. So there we go. Oh, I'm forgetting one thing. Nope, sorry, one more thing. We need a ring of wealth on. If you don't have the ring of wealth as well, it won't work. In fact, all dragonstone jewelry. You need all dragonstone. So I need to get a glory out here. Put that on. And now we're good. Look at that. Now we're set up. Now we're ready. Especially with the ring of wealth. Yep, obviously I'm joking. But yeah, we're going to do some merchanting. So if there's a few ways you can merch, I'm going to go over really only two of them. The long merches are kind of like situational. So long-term merches are kind of like when you buy an item when it's really cheap and you sell it it could be even like months later for a higher price. And the most obvious long-term merch is Christmas crackers. So what I did is on actually yesterday. So this should be in my history. Yesterday, yeah, here it is. Yesterday I bought Christmas crackers for 51k each. I've bought 41 of them here, I think. Well, you know, a little bit, you know. Maybe not. I sold 41 because I had one in my bank as well. But yeah, we're buying these when they're pretty cheap because on obviously yesterday when the Christmas event was released, everybody got Christmas crackers and a bunch of party hats for free. So I bought them then at their cheapest when they completely crashed. And I'm just putting an offer up here to sell them for a lot more. And that should happen within, I would say, a month or two. And I'm not really afraid to show you guys this because this is kind of inevitable. Like, this merch is a real easy merch to do. And if you want to get into this, why not buy some Christmas crackers? I think right now they're at 55k. I bought them at 51k. So they're going up kind of quickly. So if you're in this video, if you're like watching this video in December time and it's not the Christmas event, then wait for the Christmas event to happen. But if it is like the Christmas event, definitely buy them now and wait until that all ends. So anyway, I have around 1 mil to merch with, but I want a little bit more than that for this episode, so I'm actually going to go ahead and sell my Amulet of Fury, and I'll buy it back at the end of the episode. So there we go. Now I have, let's see, I started out. Let's go ahead and start out with an even number. So let's put this all in my bank, and we're going to go ahead and get out 4 mil. So we have sort of baseline here. So there we go. I have 4 mil in cash. And we're going to go over a few things here. So first strategy, first of all, we're going to open up Notepad. Notepad's where we're going to keep our information. And I forget if I have always on top here. It would be nice if I did. Hold on. All right, so this isn't obviously required, but I got this little program which allows me to put things on to stay always on top. So I think if I, hold on a sec. If you get this little always on top thing online, if you control space when you have a window, that'll stay on top no matter what window you've selected below it. So that's useful for us because we can just write down information. So first of all, I'm going to go over the first merching technique for the video, and that is set merching. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually buy all the items for a rune set, and we're going to sell the rune set for a higher price. So first of all, we need to do this technique to figure out what the current best buying price is for Rune Full Helm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up, and we're going to lose a little bit of money when we're testing this out, but we're going to gain a lot more in the long run. So let's go ahead and just increase the price of this a bunch. Buy it for way more than it's going to be. And as you can see, total price of 22,057. That's currently the selling price for merchers. Now we want to sell this for a lower price. Now, obviously, this isn't how you merch. This is just how you test price values. So right now, it's being bought for a total price of 21,900. So we're going to type in Rune Full Helm. And usually, you want to up this a little bit, and you want to set your buying price for Rune Full Helms for a little bit more than that, so you get them a little bit more. But since that's such an even number, a lot of people will just sell it at that number. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it like that instead of increasing it by 1. But if you want to increase maybe your priority of that, we can always increase it by 1 or 2. But I'm going to go ahead and see what happens if I just keep it like that. And if we're not getting any buys, I can always increase it by 1 or 2 coins. And it won't be that big of a deal. Now let's go ahead and get a rune plate body. And do the same thing. Buy it for a ridiculous price. And then put a sell offer in there for a ridiculously low price. And rune plate body. Another even number, so I'm going to keep that. 43,950. Okay. And then rune plate legs. Gonna buy it for a ridiculous price. Don't worry about that number. And then sell it for a very low price. Buying price, once again, a very even number. So, actually, this is usually how it is with items that are higher priced. With lower priced items, it's quite different. But last item is rune kite shield for the rune set. So, buy that for a low price, or high price, I mean. Sell for a low one. 35. Alright, so rune kite shield. 35,500. Okay. So now, what we want to do is we want to test our theories. We're going to buy a rune full helm for 21,900. We're just going to do one of them. Buy a rune plate body for 43,950. Which is what we have here. These prices will obviously differ depending on when you're buying them. Like, don't just go off of these exact prices, because they'll definitely be different. Rune kite shield for 35,500. And what we're testing is, first of all, to make sure that the items buy at those prices, and second of all, to make sure that we're making money. So rune plate body is good, so I'm going to put a star next to it, meaning it's good. Now you can do whatever you want. I like putting a star there, so we know that currently is working. It might not work in the future, but right now it is from our test. So if we go ahead and add up all of these numbers that we have over here while our items are buying, we're going to get our total here. And our plan, hold on, let me just go ahead and finish out these calculations. So our total buy price is going to be 142,550. Now our plan is to put these all, I'll sell it. It's my current merching text file, so we're going to put it there. So our plan is to sell the set of these items. So we put it into a set to sell it for a higher price. So our total buy price is right now 142,550. Our plan is to sell it for, we'll try anything higher than that. We'll maybe try 146k first, stuff like that. So we've already got 3 of the items. We're just waiting on the rune kite shield. So obviously you can see that happened pretty quickly. I did not pause the video at all. So we can go ahead and take all these items out. And I'm going to see if I can wait 10 seconds while this is still recording. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, nope, okay. Well, I'll pause the video and let you know if this buys. Okay, so I do want it to buy a little bit faster than this, and it's currently not. So that's not a big deal. We can still get a pretty good price margin if we up the price just a little bit. Let's try 35,510. We had it 35, so we're just going to add 10 there, and that'll up our total by 10 coins. That's just a quick up, just a tiny bit of an up increase is sometimes all you need to do. And then wait a minute, see if that buys, and if not, we might do a little bit of a bigger increase, maybe by like 100 coins. And the amount of patience you need to buy or sell these items is totally dependent on how much that item is being traded. So something like a rune set is obviously traded kind of often, but you can expect something like actual runes or bowstrings or flax and stuff like that to probably be sold a lot more often, like a lot more often. So your patience is kind of dependent on those kind of statistics. So Rune's Kite Shield, it's sold a decent amount. And actually looking at the price here, sorry, let me go ahead and search Rune Kite Shield. Right now it's like kind of median price is 36.3k according to OS Buddy. And if we look at Rune Plate Body, actually if we click on this we can get more statistics because I'll actually bring up a web page. And it looks like the current sell price is 36,210. So I'm thinking we probably want to up this to 36k. Maybe the merchant just got lucky last time. So we'll try 36 K here. For sets, you can be a little bit more lenient because you're probably going to get a good, unless you go ridiculously high, you're probably going to get a pretty good turnout anyway. So 36K I think is a good number for that. And I'm going to just go ahead and recalculate the total. All right, so I recalculated the total, and would you look at that, it actually did buy. So our plan is to sell it for a decent amount more than 143K, around that. So let's go to sets here. Let's create a rune set. Obviously, when you're actually doing this, you want to do this with more than just one set. But you always want to do a test run first. I'd always recommend doing that. So actually, what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to look at a rune armor set leg and look at the current selling price, the current buying price. See kind of the range I have here. And the range is a decent range between those two values. So I'm going to try actually 147K to start out with. That'll get us a decent amount of profit. Whoops, I meant to minimize. So let's do 147K. And we'll see how long that takes to sell. And if we did sell it for that amount, that would be, well, that'd be a 4K. So sell price, 147K. Profit. Profit would be 4K. That is if it sells. So we'll see if it sells. For sets like these, it's going to be traded a lot less than even the individual items are. So I'm going to wait, you know, a good maybe 4 or 5 minutes. I'll watch a video or something while that's selling. And if it takes, you know, longer than that amount of time, we might lower it a little bit. But I think a profit of 4K for that amount paid is pretty decent, actually. If you're expecting a profit of like a lot more than that, for basic stuff like sets, you're probably not. For a very long time merch like this Christmas cracker stuff, you can expect some pretty good profit. Let me just go ahead and do the math here for this so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So if we go to history, I bought them for 51K. Each. So I had 42 Christmas crackers times 51K. Now, this is the only merch that I'm actually completely sure about. One of the only merches, because it is so, the prices are so easy to figure out. And that's around a 2 mil profit. Like that's pretty good. I did not mean to close the calculator there, but yeah, that's really good. I'm really happy with that amount of profit, especially if it does happen. I know eventually it will happen. It's just a matter of time. So anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and lower this, mostly because I'm just not patient. And we're going to lower it by just 500 coins and see if that makes any difference at all. So it's 146,500 that we're now selling it at. And that'll be a total profit of 3.5K. All right, so it took around 2 minutes, which is pretty good, and it sold for 146,500 coins. So now we have a 1K profit in total because we did all that like selling and buying stuff. So let's go ahead and do a bigger merch now. So we're going to do Rune Full Helm. We're going to buy around 25 of them for 21,900. So let's do 25. Rune Plate Bodies for 43,950 is what I calculated. Rune Plate Legs for 41,200. And then Rune Kite Shield for 36K. We've used up quite a lot of our money on this merch. Ooh, and those Rune Kite Shields bought pretty quickly. So it looks like in the meantime the price went down a little bit, which isn't a big deal. We're still getting a lot of profit on it. I would not worry too much about that. I would worry about that if we were doing the other type of merch we're going to get to in this episode, which is kind of the normal one-item merch. But I'm not going to worry about it in our current situation. So yeah, we got all of those Rune Kite Shields. We can probably lower the price for future reference to 35,600 or something. And that'll increase our profit margins a little bit. So I'm just going to go to collect screen here. If you're planning on doing something else while this is happening, because you might be buying a lot more sets than I am if you have a bigger cash stack, then you can go ahead and OS Buddy will actually tell you how much is sold in your client. So if you're not, if you're doing something else, you can always see here. And OS Buddy is always good to look up the current selling and buying prices because it actually calculates them from players who put stuff in the GE, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, stuff's coming in at a good rate right now. I'm liking this rate. For the plate legs, it slowed down a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's because it's really just always depends on what's being sold more, and it also depends on like your prices and stuff as well. So we're gonna if everything else buys and we only still have one plate leg, you can judge for yourself whether you want to increase the price or not. I think with these kind of price margins, if we left it for long enough, I think definitely they're all gonna buy. It's just it depends on how long you're willing to wait, to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for a good minute or so. Looks like we've almost got all of our full helms, almost all of our plate legs, or plate bodies, another 10 or so more. And plate legs is really all we're waiting for here. So our rune full helms just finished the second after I paused. So I'm going to take those off now. Alright, that took around 6 minutes. In fact, it was almost exactly 6 minutes according to my clock. So we're going to go ahead and turn all of our items we have into sets. We now have 25 rune sets. We're going to sell them for 146,500. And they've already started selling, so that's pretty cool. So I'll let you know how long that takes. Okay, so they've all sold, and that took around 20 minutes. But really, it took 15 minutes, and the last one took 5 minutes to sell for some reason. So if I take this out, I've made 91k profit. Since I took 4 mil out of the bank, and right now I have 4 mil, 91,569 coins. And that's a pretty good profit. I mean, think about it. This took me, I think, around a total, even just like this entire episode, figuring out the prices and the sell price and everything. That took around 30 minutes total. And the 91k for 30 minutes, that's pretty good. That is, that is 3k a minute. Not bad at all. If you can make 3k a minute forever, that you get a lot of money. That's for sure. So depending on how much money you have, sometimes setting, like I like to call it set merching, can be the best way for you. So the next thing we're going to do is short-term one-item merching. So I'm just going to get rid of that, and we're going to go up here. And we're just going to want to pick one item that is bought and sold very often. So here are some examples. You have flax, you got bowstrings, you got just any item you want. Like, people ask me, like, how do you know what item is, currently the best or whatever? You're not going to know. Nobody's ever going to know what the best item is unless you're just really, really good at that kind of stuff, which, I mean, some people go into the business for this kind of marketing and, like in the stock market and stuff. And, I mean, it's good. This is good practice for that kind of stuff. So I picked a nature rune, and we're going to see if there's a good price margin on this. And so we do actually want to pay attention to what this next price is going to be. So we're going to do the same tactic before, buy it for a ridiculous price, and it looks like 278 was the sell margin. So I'm going to go ahead and put sell 278. Well, we're probably going to sell for a little bit under that, so maybe 276 or 277. Depending on what the margin is, I'll decide. So put 277 in there for now. Now once we buy it, we're going to put it in again and sell it for a ridiculously low price. So it looks like this has got, for an item that is this cheap, that's really not a bad margin if you think about it. And 265 is a nice even number, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be a good one to buy it at. So let's go ahead and do a test run. And we're going to do a test run since it's quite a well-bought item. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a very an item that's sold very often. We're going to do the test run with like 1k of them, especially since it's so cheap. And if this takes just 1k of them, if this takes like longer than, I'd say, around 3 minutes to sell, I'm probably going to up it by like 1 coin. All right, well, it's been around, they're coming in. It's been around like 30 seconds, and we've already gotten almost half. So I'm happy about this this number. Now, this does change depending, because it's an item that's sold and bought a lot. So you could put this at maybe 264 or something that's lower than really what the main, like the lowest margin is here. And if you left it overnight, isn't like an update or something that makes them do that. So now we bought them all at 265. Let's see if we can sell them all at 277, and we'll see how long this takes. A little under 30 seconds. This is actually, I picked a really good item for right now. Now, when you're doing this, it could not be a good item. Who knows? So we're gonna go ahead and put 265k in here. We started with, I'm gonna so we can total up the amount we made this whole episode. I'm going to keep it as it is. So we got around 4,103,000. Now let's put nature runes here. Buy for 265. And we're going to buy a lot of them. Well, looks like we're at 15,500. A little under. 15,400. And then we'll add until we get up to 103K. We're at oh, that's good. 4,102. That's 265. We're going to put all that in there. So we're buying, let's see, 15480 for 265. Well, actually, what we can do is we know the margin, so we know 277 is what we're selling it as, minus 265. Now, if this is totally, if this is successful, we will be making 186K from this merch. Now, since we're buying so many of them, this is not going to be instant. This is going to take a decent amount of time, so you're going to have to you have to be a little patient with this. And depending on how fast the market is, it'll differ. If I give you a time, it's not always going to be what the right time is. So we're at 185,760, and we're going to see if this works. If not, we might up it by a coin or so and see what happens. But I'm going to leave this for a while, and we'll see what happens. All right, well, it's been a decent amount of time, and we're not actually really getting any natures at all. So we're going to go ahead and up it by 1 coin and see if that makes a difference. And actually, quite often, 1 coin makes a very good amount of difference. So we're going to do, what is it, 16 or 15, 300, we'll do that. And sometimes even the selling margin goes up with this. So it might even out anyway, who knows. So 266, there we go. Now, we'll see if any of this sells. One thing to keep in mind as well. Now, I went to the Runescape wiki to look at Grand Exchange buying limits. And the buying limit of Grand Exchange items is restricted to a certain quantity every 4 hours. And the following is a list of all known buying limits for items in the Grand Exchange. So every 4 hours, we're only allowed to buy up to... I just passed it. No, 12,000 nature runes. Now, not every item is on here, only some of them, but yeah. Apparently, we're only allowed to buy 12,000 nature runes every 4 hours. I've only bought 1,000, so 11,000 of these should go through, and the rest should not. And it's been a good 5 minutes, so maybe the market is just kind of stale right now. We're going to wait a little longer, though, and we'll see what happens. But that's why you're not going to be able to merch the same item for just forever. So I just did another test, and the market price has changed in the last few minutes. It's now 272. Let me just show you the history here. The margin decreased by a lot, like a lot. And this happens with items that are traded this often. It went up by, it's now like only 2 coin difference. And that happens because people merch them, and the margins get smaller the more they're merged. That's just kind of the effect that is caused. So we can either do 2 things. We can find another item, or we can wait for the margin to go back to where it was, or maybe we can bring this up maybe a little bit more and wait for it to get to the selling price. It's really whatever you want to do. It's up to you. It's up to how much time you have. Because I'm making a video here, I'm going to go ahead and decline this. And we're going to start over again. So let's go ahead and see nature runes. Now if we increase the price bunch, it's 277. So now it's actually gone back to normal, or back to what we had it at. No, 270 is now the buying price. So the margin's around 7 coins. So let's go ahead and do 270. And let's go ahead and do as many as we can. I want to try to put this in quick before the margin change. So we're just going to do 15K. Alright, so 270 is our buying now. So we have 270. 277 is our sell. So we have a 7 coin margin. Still a pretty decent profit. That's 105K profit. And hopefully it'll be faster than what we were buying it at before. But we will see. Alright, so as you can see, all of them bought. And I'm actually at my buying limit now. Because if you add all of the ones I tested and the ones that I, like the 1K that we did the test merch on, that's actually the amount. So that took around 20 minutes. It wasn't that bad. No, it was actually like 10 minutes. Okay. So we're going to put that in for 277 coins, and we're going to see what happens there. Unfortunately, the Looks like the margin's changed even more. So I'm going to go ahead and move this down to 276, and we'll just see if that makes any difference at all. I almost said 176, that would have been bad. So yeah, not as good a profit right now. It's really to do with luck. It's not like settings, doing the set stuff is always better. It just depends on your luck. I think setting, oh my gosh, I think doing sets is more like you're usually more consistent with sets. But yeah, now we're gonna make like 66k if this goes through. So yeah, let's go ahead and end the rest of this offer because we can't buy any more anyway. And we're gonna go ahead and see if that sells at 276. So actually at this point, I need to go to bed because it's getting late. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this at 277, which was our original margin. And we're gonna check on this tomorrow, where I think it would have sold at that point. So, yep, I'll be back then. For you, it'll be like 5 seconds. We're making good profit though. On the sets, we had a little bit more luck, and we might go back to the sets and see how much more profit we can make after this. But for right now, we're gonna keep that offer in. I'm gonna keep this money in my inventory, and I'm gonna log out. And when I log back in, I will continue recording. Alright, it is now the next day, and the nature runes have sold, and we've got around 180k profit so far this episode. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to try getting a little bit more profit. We're going to go ahead and do some more merching of the rune sets. So let's go ahead and move this all back up, and I'm going to, sorry, nature runes. We're going to have to figure out what our prices are again, so I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Alright, so evidently the price has gone up a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to try selling this for 148k at least. Now, we'll do a test run with these prices once again. Alright, I had to tweak the plate legs price a little bit, but they eventually all did sell. It took like 3 minutes. So let's go ahead and pack these up. And we're going to try selling it for maybe 150k, and we'll bring it down if we need to. So let's try 150k first. Alright, so I ended up having to drop it to 148k. So that's our selling price, and that gives us around 2.8k profit. So we're going to go with that and see if we can try this on a bigger scale now. Rune full helm, 22,500. By the way, yeah, this is just a more setting that I'm doing here. This isn't anything new. I had this earlier in the episode. So they're almost all sold here. Now let's take some of these out and create sets and sell them back. And then the rest of the plate bodies we'll just sell, and we can put them in there when we're ready. Alright, everything has sold now. I've got them all set up and everything has sold. So now we're at 4 mil, 250k. Now there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is like setting items that are a little bit more expensive. So let's go ahead and see how much. Well, let's do Darok's set. Darok's set's probably sold the most often out of all of them. What we need to do for items that are like this that we can't actually, what's the word I'm looking for? We can't just buy and sell them to see what the best price is. So you can look on here, you see what the lowest price is here is the sell price, 349,827. And we're going to try buying it for that, and if it doesn't buy for that, then we're going to just keep moving it up little bits until it buys. So 349,827. So a little bit more patience is sometimes needed for this. And you can do the tactic that I did before. But you would lose a little bit more money than you would rune. Like if you buy it for something ridiculous, sell it for low to see what the right prices are, but you'd end up losing a little bit more money. So 657223. It's Darok plate body. There it is. So that's, what was that again? Shoot. 657223. And if none of these buy, we'll move them up little bits, and then we'll see. So this is Darok plate legs. Lowest price is 678044. But the thing is, OS Buddy is not always right because sometimes, you know, updates change things. You know, a lot of stuff can alter these prices. 418,720. 418,720. This is the Great Axe. Okay. Now I'm starting to see that like it doesn't really seem like any of these are buying. So we're gonna go do. Oh, the plate legs bought. Sweet. All right, so Darox, plate legs. That's 6, 7, 8. Wow, never mind. I misspoke. They're buying. All right, Darox. Helm is 349827. And we'll see if the other stuff sells. So they actually all ended up buying at the prices we had set, which is pretty cool. And this only happens, actually it might be the fact that it's barrows and people are selling these items and they just want them to sell, they don't care about merching them or anything. But it doesn't happen all the time with these kind of items, so I don't expect it to happen all of the time. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry, I forgot that it was just a capital D, didn't have like the picture of Darox set or anything. So now we're going to sell this, and let's see, how much did we pay for this? 349. Oops, where'd the calculator go? Where is it? It's probably behind one of these windows. Yep, here it is. Okay. So we had 349,827 plus 678,044 plus 657,223. And then 418,720. So our total that we bought is 103,814. Now let's go ahead and look at Darox set on OS Buddy. And it looks like the sell price. That's a pretty good margin. I like that margin. So we're gonna go 2204. So total sell. 204,000. All right, so 2204. We'll try that, and we'll see if that sells. And if that does sell, we've made a decent amount of profit on that. All right, well that sold within around 5 minutes or so. So that got us. Let's see, how much profit is that? 2204,000 minus 2103,814. That's 100K profit. So total profit is 100K. Let's see, we've made so far 351K this episode, and that's just me kind of like just randomly doing stuff, not really thinking too much about it. Let's try making 1 mil this episode. So let's just do another Darox set quick, and see if we can make the same profit. All right, well I had to up the price for the Great Axe just a tiny bit, like 2K, but it did buy. So we're gonna go ahead and make another set out of these, and then we're gonna go. I'm gonna go do 2, completely off camera. So let's go ahead and sell this for 204K. I'll come back when this sells. All right, well that sold pretty quickly, and now we're up 448K, which is pretty cool. Let's do another Darox set. This seems to be being the best for us so far. So we're gonna go ahead and do 2 of them this time. So here's 2 helms. Plate body. 2 of those. 2 of these. That's 6, 7, 8, 0, 4. And honestly, pick any set you want. Party hat sets are good as well. Anything you want. And just look at the market, see what's working out the best. Do research, pretty much. Might not be Darox set when you see this video. It could be something completely different that's the best. I think Darox set looks pretty good right now. So you could try that if you want, but I can't say that anything's gonna work perfectly all the time, because it just never happens. I guess the Christmas cracker is the only occurrence of that, because and maybe a few others, like other rares and stuff, because they're all dumped at one point. You can buy them when they're very, very, very cheap, and then sell them when they're a lot more expensive. All right, well I just made the Darox sets. Well, I bought the items. I'm making the sets now, and I'm gonna go sell them. Last time I only had to bring up the helm by like 2K, so that wasn't that big of a deal. I'm gonna sell it for 204K, and we'll wait. Oh, oops, I didn't record it. It worked, and now we're 644K, so we're pretty close to being over almost a mil. of profit from this episode. All right, well, I just sold 2 more, so we are now up to 832k profit. So yeah, I think we'll just end this episode with Darox because I'm having fun merching this right now anyway. So we'll do 2 more. I think if we do 2 more, we'll be, at least very close to a mil profit this episode, which is what I'm looking to. All right, 2 more armor sets sold. And that, I'm gonna call that a mil, 972k. That's pretty close. And Darox sets are not working too well for me anymore as well. But yeah. I hope you guys learned a lot this episode about merchanting. We did sets and items, and we made 972k from both of those together. Mostly from sets because we found a real good merch there for a while. So yeah, it's all about finding the right item, guys. Try all different types of sets, all types of maybe Barrow sets, rune sets, other armor sets, anything you can think of. Also, items that are traded very often as well. They work very well. Even if it's you either do quantity or like price. So if you have the quantity of if you buy like I don't know 50,000 bowstrings at 170 and you sell 50,000 for 172, that's 100k profit just because of how many you bought. So yeah, even if it's a small margin, the amount that you buy can make the difference as well. So anyway, guys, that's about it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.